speaking of victims, right? Brittney Griner is back in the news. All right, we got a few things to cover today. Brittney Griner is back in the news, and specifically back in the news because she signed her new deal with the WNBA. So I want to share this with you guys. Before we continue, we got to talk about Don Lemon. We got to talk about Tesla. We got a lot of different things that we want to cover today. So before we get started, let's continue and let's get into it. Make sure you hit a like for the YouTube algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let's rock, ladies and gentlemen.
Let's talk about Brittney Griner. She's returning to the only WNBA team she has ever played for. Source confirms to CBS News that the Phoenix Mercury will re-sign the 8-time All-Star to a 1-year contract. The deal comes less than 3 months after Griner was freed from a Russian prison. The 32-year-old free agent led the Mercury to the WNBA Finals in 2021. Griner was then detained in Russia for 10 months after customs officials arrested her at a Moscow airport, finding vape cartridges containing cannabis oil in her luggage. When Griner was released in December, she wrote on Instagram that she intended to play basketball again for the Mercury.
Nice to see her back.
Right. Yeah.
It's her livelihood. She's so talented. And I think.
Well, first and foremost, Harpo, who is this guy? Who is this man right here with the cornrows? Who is this man with the cornrows that's on national TV, Harpo? I'm going to be reading y'all super chats throughout the show. Who is this black man with this nub in the back of his head like a chick that ain't got no hair? That must be a part of the diversity and inclusion that got him on the show. Let's continue.
I think that was like the number one question once she got settled. Like, do you think she'll play basketball?
Mm-hmm.
So
I hope she's getting paid.
$160,000.
160. Yeah, but I mean,
so then you don't have to go overseas.
You don't have to go overseas.
But you have to look at it.
So, the number that she signed for, was 1 year, $165,000 a year. Let me say that again. As we look at this black man that's on the show with his cornrows, 1 year, $165,000. Now, what do y'all think about that? I'm curious what y'all think about it. 1 year, $165,000 a year. Now, you know that we're going to have these pundits on the internet and these people that's on these national shows that say that that is a travesty. And never mind that we're not tying compensation for the WNBA players to how much they actually generate, right? Because if we actually tied the compensation of WNBA players to what it is that they generate, then we would be more closely aligned with probably under $100,000 a year. One NBA player, for context. A lot of y'all saying that's crazy. I don't think that that's crazy. I think that she's getting paid too much. I think that all WNBA players get paid too much. I had a conversation with Lamar Odom about this. And I'm actually going to start dropping those Lamar Odom clips on Don't Do Coke in the Bathroom. That is the other channel, one of the channels that I own, that where we archive all of our interviews after they've sat over here at the Anton Daniels channel for an extended period of time, right? I believe that she's getting paid too much money. I don't believe that people should be overpaid for a losing product. Now, if you don't want to play basketball, or if you want to go over to Russia and risk your freedom, in which we then made an egregious play in trading the Merchant of Death in order to get Brittney Griner over here. First of all, we traded a king's ransom over here, and she's still making $165,000 just in her salary. Has nothing to do with the Victim Olympic sponsorships that she's probably going to get as a result of all of the visibility, and she probably going to come up as a result of it. But I don't believe that WNBA players should be making $165,000 a year when you actually have a losing product. The WNBA, for context, ladies and gentlemen, and this is a fact, has never, ever turned a profit. The WNBA has never, ever turned a profit. Ever. As a league. And these women are asking for more money. They don't have fans in the stands. They can't sell a jersey to save their life. I wouldn't watch it if it was on ESPN Telemundo and I was in Mexico and that was the only channel that I got on TV. I would just say, skip it. Let me just go outside and do some cartwheels in the sand. Possibly get abducted from the cartels over in Mexico before you sit down and you force me to watch a WNBA game. It is one of the most horrible products that I've ever seen on TV. And the worst part about it is not only can they not dunk, and not only do they look like little boys out there, a lot of them, but it's also it's a horrible, horrible experience. Yo, they tried to get me when the Shock, because they had the Pistons and they had the Shock, and the Shock actually was like a championship team here in Detroit. That was back when Bill Davison owned the team, right, for the Detroit Pistons. Back when the 04 Pistons was killing everything. And the Detroit Shock had won like a championship or two or something like that. Man, you couldn't get me to go to one of those games at the Palace in Auburn Hills. You could not get me. I almost believe that if I bought a Brittney Griner jersey and I wore it on the internet, you guys would actually unsubscribe for the channel. And I wouldn't blame you for it. If I wore a Brittney Griner jersey, I'm about to go get me a Brittney Griner jersey. If I bought a Brittney Griner jersey and wore it on a live stream, I think that y'all would unsubscribe from the channel. For real.
Endorsements that will come, and I think her story, if you didn't know Brittney Griner's name before, you know it now. So it'll bring fans, hopefully.
Hopefully.
It won't. And I'm not a fan. And I think that, again, it was an egregious trade. And we traded the Lord of War, nicknamed the Merchant of Death, in order to get her. And if I hear one peep from anybody that is complaining about the salary that Brittney Griner is getting or Brittney Griner herself, I myself will buy the entire front row of a WNBA game for $70, and I will go and protest at the game myself. You will see me protesting at a WNBA game personally myself if I hear one peep out of this chick about getting a $165,000 salary as a result of being rescued from something that she self-inflicted herself with, and making sure that she decided that she wanted to smoke some trees over there in Russia during the Ukraine war. You wanted to go over there and play basketball, and then you didn't know Putin was a monster over there. So listen, this continues to feed into this narrative of feminism. I think that men are catching a bad rap right now. I'm about to read super chats. I appreciate y'all. I think that men are catching a bad rap night right now. Honestly, if you gave me a buy one get one free WNBA game, I don't think I can do it. I don't want my daughter to even see that nonsense. I don't want to have to troll in order to entertain myself. I genuinely don't. So shout out to all of the WNBA players and all of that other type of stuff. Listen, man, you run an inferior product. I believe that it's egregious for us to even ask for more from you. And I don't want to hear anybody complaining about Brittney Griner's salary because I think that she's overpaid. I think every single WNBA player is overpaid. And y'all need to do the same way that they did it back in the day. A lot of those dudes that was in the NBA in the earlier years, they had regular everyday jobs after they got off and they got done playing. These cheerleaders that be out there, go, Pistons, Laker girls, or whatever, after they get done getting bust down by all of the players, yep, Lamar Odom told me about y'all hoes. After they get done getting bust down by all of the players, you know what they go and do? They go to their regular everyday job. They got another job. Those dudes was plumbers. They was electricians. They worked on the line at Ford Motor Company, and they had to ask for an off day in order for them to be able to travel with the team. They grinded their way out. Nobody gave them nothing. Nobody advocated for them. Nobody made sure that they was taken care of. They had to do what they had to do in order to feed their families. Until they somehow, some way got a profitable product, and even the sponsorships. Like, even these companies, these woke companies, they're like, nah, we're not about to overpay for a WNBA game. They had to go and take care of their business. If you want equal, then get it out the mud, just like everybody else. We're not going to sit here and have you running in the Victim Olympics and participating in something that we should not have to pay for at all. And that's my stance, and I'm sticking with it, all right?